Throughout our lives, we carry many different faces. I picked the quote, "Home is where you hang your hat." And basically, I just think throughout our days, we carry so many different personalities depending where we're at or what we're doing. Places that I feel a lot of us can change who our faces are work, sometimes school, and even throughout relationships. I know at my work, I'm a hostess at a restaurant. Even me, like, I'll put on a face, like, I could have the worst day, but I can put on a face that, "Hi, how are you? How's your day?" And even the waitresses at my work, they'll be little kids, and they'll be playing with the kids while they're working with them, but then they'll come to me and, "I want to kill the kids," because they're just holding a whole face. And then even if, as me, if I'm having a bad day, I'll have a happy face, but then I'll go home and I'll probably lay down, be angry, and show who I really am. And even when you go to places where people are working, they have a happy face, and if they're not, then you get mad, you know? So it's just, as it is, at work you have to put a face, even if that's not how you're truly feeling. So I know even when I go tanning, for example, I'll go in, they greet me, they're all happy, but then when I walk away, I can hear them talking about their lives and being angry, and then in my head I'm just like, okay, you know, that's not who they really are. Another place is school. School, even if you're a disrespectful person at home, if, you know, you're not, you know, to your parents or whatever, you have to come, you have to respect your teachers. If you're not, you're sent to the office, or, you know, it's just as it is, you should be respectful. And at home, you could be a whole different person. As my mom would say, she'd be like, "Your teachers only knew." Sometimes with me and her, when I'm not listening to her, she'll be like, "If your teachers only knew," or if anybody else would have known. And I think a really big one also is breakups, because I've seen multiple of my friends, they'll go through breakups, they'll talk about how, "Yeah, I'm meeting up with him," and then they'll go meet up and, "Yeah, I just walked out and I said we're done," but then they go home and they're crying. You know, they cry and they show who they really are. And even they'll go home, call me, and start crying. And I just feel like we portray ourselves throughout our lives as somebody else. When it comes to it, we go home and we show who we really are. So I just feel we have so many different faces through wherever we're at, what situations we're in, but then when you go home, you hang your hat and you're completely yourself. So in conclusion, we have so many different faces, but home is where we can be ourselves, because it's home sweet home.
All right, I think it's a little bit clearer how you were connecting the topic to the things that you were talking about at the end of the speech than it was at the beginning of the speech. But I did like the fact that you started confidently. You had a very good preview of what you were going to talk about, and the speech is well organized during the rest of the speech. You did kind of jump from the second point to the third point without much transition, and you want to be a little bit smoother than that. But that's a minor quibble. You're definitely doing the right kinds of things, structuring your ideas there. A couple of the examples could use a little bit more detail. Because you keep it at a hypothetical level or an abstract level, it's not nearly as interesting or involving as one of those real experiences. The first one, that was the closest that you came to having some real experiences. And I think that it showed when you got to the second and the third examples. They just kind of stay at that superficial level and don't become nearly as interesting. The presentation issues, you project pretty well. I think you have very nice inflection in your voice, so you help make an idea interesting and add a little bit of emotion to it. It all flows together very smoothly. No noticeable problems with the gestures. Mostly they're natural indicators. You do the same kind of thing that with your voice, with your face, excuse me, that you do with your voice. You convey some good emotions, and you seem quite animated there, and I think that's good. You're generally looking around at the audience. You make eye contact with most parts of the audience, but not just looking at people, but also engaging them, kind of changing the angle of your head and focusing your body on the audience as well, and I think that that comes across very effectively. I like the summary at the end, and like I said before, I think that the summary actually kind of connects the subject matter a little more clearly to the theme that you had at the beginning of the speech. All right, thank you.